So it's a couple days later after my last what you saw was I was getting ready to do this floor and had tiled that, and I showed the little strip on the inside of here, the little piece of tile strip on the inside of here. So that is done. The floor is completely done. This floor is at a very profound angle that direction. So my buildup on my fence set is pretty deep down at that end, but for the most part this is level. I think the bubble is still off just maybe a little tad, still sloping in that direction, but it was problematic, and it's resolved, and the tile is set, and it will soon be grouted, and the walls have almost been completed. As you saw on the first video, or maybe you didn't, the ledger board is there to take up any difference between the size of the tile and the bottom piece being the last piece, and that is the lowest point of this whole bathroom. So my ledger board started there with 11 3/4. I started at 11 1/2 to give myself a little 1/4 inch shave, if you will, and then everything goes up from that direction. So by the time it gets over here, it's probably about 10 inches, and by the time it's over here, it's probably about 8 or 9, going all the way around. So as I said, the tile is almost finished on the walls. There's a little manipulation that I had to do. I think on the previous video I mentioned there was no problems, there's only solutions. So I ran into a problem with respect to the size of the tile. These are 11 3/4. Tile is almost never exactly 12 inches, and neither is this. The problem is that this is less than 11 3/4, and that's 11 3/4. So to get a smaller grout line over here, which even takes up more room, meaning room on the grout over here, I had to actually split the difference. So you'll see I have 1/4 inch grout lines here and 1/16 over here. The 1/4 inch is about half of what that grout line is in order for all the lines to still match up. Not a fun process, not anticipated when I started, and it was partly my mistake because I didn't measure. I just assumed that all of this large format tile is 11 3/4 because it normally is. Having measured it would not help me. It would let me know that I would have to do something like this, but that's all it would do. So I saw the problem and overcame it. Another thing too, this relates to backsplashes more than it does in a shower application, because I don't do, or a bathroom as it were, because I don't do wall-to-wall tile in bathrooms much at all. But on a backsplash this would definitely matter, and I don't suggest that you're doing a large format tile, but it wouldn't matter anyway, even a small tile. The tile should not cover up the holes, but they should also go right up to the holes. If you can see there clearly on the bottom and clearly on the top, only the hole for the screw for here is actually showing. Don't go below that and don't go above that. Don't impede the hole so that you can't get the screw in there later. In fact, these probably will fit. Usually on backsplashes they don't. You have to get a longer screw. My customer was adherent to have an electrician bump out all of these boxes a lot more than they should be in order to take up the difference. But anyway, the point I was trying to make, these tabs right here at the bottom of the screw are the only thing that presses up against to make this whole thing work. So if you cut below where the screw is at, say I cut right here, the tab has nothing to grip onto, and that can be problematic. So again, backsplashes are the main reason you want to adhere to that, but yeah, just get the tile as close around the box as you possibly can as the bottom line. So I'm going to be doing that on this tile as well, going up about the same spot too. See, half a tile cut, and it's going to be half and half over here. Anyway, that's about it. I'm going to get started today on the I'm going to get started on the niche. I was thinking backsplash. So I have some bull nose that were made from this tile here, and those, well, the inside of here will be tiled first. The inside will be tiled, and then I think it's going to be half and half. So it's going to be one of these tile in here at the halfway mark, and then another one of these tile at the halfway mark. But once this is all tiled in and trimmed out, that will set up to dry while I'm taking care of running my tile to the ceiling over here and over here. Then I will take off these ledger boards and I will do the fill-in tile at the bottom. By the time I'm done with that, it'll be about 3-4 hours from now. This will be set up enough to where I can start running my tile up and around it. And today should be the last day of tiling. Tomorrow will be the grouting process. And it's almost complete, so it's starting to really shape up. And I'm starting to appreciate the look. When I was given the tile and given the idea, the design idea and everything, I wasn't really feeling it, but now I kind of sort of am, even though it looks a little clinical. Don't know that I would do complete white tile, but I do like the floor. Before any of you all can answer or ask a question about the ledger board holes, you see them clearly here, right? I actually put 2 there because the first one wasn't going through. So I'm filling those in with the same silicone that I used on the shower, and I just squeeze in as much as I can and wipe off the excess. And that's how you make sure you haven't compromised any waterproofing that you've done. So I hope that answers a question before it's been asked. When tile guys do tile, they do things intentionally, and even though we're never quite sure if it's going to work out, it is a planned endeavor. There were some comments made when I first started the first part of this video about how I'm going to finish out this left edge, since the plumber didn't center the drain. Does a drain being off center bother me that much? No, but then it's not my shower. The other concern was that I wouldn't be able to get the drain cover off once the tile was set, and that has turned out not to be true because I planned it accordingly. If you remember, there's some caulking on the back side of that, plus on top of that there's grout that's tapered down at an angle coming this direction, and then there's a whole nother 3/4 of an inch of drain to drop down. And it's important to be able to open this so you can clean your basket. So anyway, thought I'd share that with you, because even though, yes, we plan for things like this, we're really, really happy when it turns out the way we planned it. Okay, this is not quite finished. It needs some grouting, of course. But all the tile is set except for the niche area. Well, the niche area is actually done, but the tile above that, I still have to run that tile around it. This has been drying all day, so eventually I'll take out all the screws and spacers and everything, and then wrap my tile, as I always do, around the niche. And then once that's done, that'll be an hour and a half, 2 hours setting all of this. Then I can start grouting everything that I've set, including the floor. I already did this 3 days ago. By the way, on the grout, I didn't really have enough tile here to facilitate getting the whole bag of grout, so I went ahead and got Fusion Pro. It's also custom building products which Home Depot sells. I've heard about Fusion Pro a lot, but I've never really had a desire to have pre-mixed grout, and that's what this is. But I had such a little area to do that this made a lot of sense. I've used about maybe 1/3 of this thing, and the other 2/3 will take care of all this. I like how it dried. I think my belief is that this is a precursor to the newest grout that Custom Building Products makes. Prism grout is what Custom Building Products has now, and I use it on almost every application because I can use it for large grout lines, I can use it for small grout lines, I can use it for unsanded or sanded applications, which is why I love Prism. But I think this other grout is a precursor to that because it's been around longer than Prism. It really, I'm impressed with it. It stays on really well. It's a feel that I have about it. I can use it on smaller grout lines as well as larger grout lines and don't have to worry about it crack. I don't have to worry about using sanded grout because I can use it interchangeably. I don't know that I mentioned it. I doubt that I have mentioned it. This used to be a tub, and not so. It's 5 foot, right at 5 foot by, I think this is about 32 inches across. So not only is it now a wet room and a curbless shower, but it's also a tub to shower conversion, which I do quite a few of, but I haven't done a tub to shower conversion with a curbless shower. No, that's not true. I did once about three or 4 years ago. That was also a tub. So just so you know, if you want to get rid of your tub and put a shower in, it doesn't have to be a curbless shower, but it's kind of a cool idea for what it is. And it is finally finished. This has been a lot of work, obviously, but I like the final result. And there's a couple of things I'm not doing. The plumber is coming back to put the toilet in, open up that line, plumb that, and he's coming back to put on escutcheon and the shower head above. I think he's going to be plumbing in the vanity, which I'm not doing, and then somebody is going to be setting these outlets back in the medicine cabinet. But my part is done. There's a niche. And it's nice, you know. End result is we have a curbless shower. Kind of a reverse curve though. Drop down, if you will. It's turned out pretty much the way I pictured it. So it's a small bathroom. I don't think this bathroom measures more than maybe 9-10 feet by about 5 foot. So a 9 by 5 bathroom. It's a wet room. You take a hose in here, were it not for this area right here, and were it not for the toilet being set and caulked around the base, you could take a hose in here and, you know, have a party. That's kind of the purpose of a wet room, is that you don't have to worry about anything getting wet ever.
I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, then subscribe. Hit that button and subscribe. I make nothing off of YouTube, so please be a Patreon member. I'm going to post a link down below to my Patreon account, and you can donate $1, $5, $10, $20 a month. Just pledge that on a monthly basis. That will help me produce more videos and content so that you can watch and learn from my channel. And donate at least $50 if you're going to call. If you're going to call for advice, donate to my PayPal, please. Donate first, and then feel free to call me or email me for advice. Otherwise, business calls only, please.